Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and as per usual, we are going to our series on SNAP. In particular, today we are going to be specifically taking a look at how many individuals who are currently utilizing SNAP benefits are individuals who are currently working. Okay? But before we get into that, brief disclaimer, and then just a heads up, my trigger warnings is going to be a little bit longer because apparently there are some things I am going to need to address. So, disclaimers, everything that we cover throughout the entirety of these SNAP series, please, everyone watching the video, close your mouth, open up your ears. In regards to all the sources, in regards to where I am getting my information, in regards to SNAP, you will find the links right there up in the description box, along with proper labels so that you know exactly what you are clicking on when you are clicking on it. So if any of you individuals want to show up in my comments and make nonsensical statements, now you know. You have no need to obnoxiously sit there and demand what my sources are. I provide every single one of them in every single video, in each of the series that I do, always inside the description box. Okay? Alright. Trigger warnings. Folks, we do have this channel marked not for kids for a reason. First off, I have a proclivity towards constant profanity. And because some of the topics we cover on this channel are pretty dark, such as the Judge Rothberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys. So if you have a 16-year-old or younger watching this channel, as always, parental supervision is very much advised. And now to address something else. Because I had an individual come into my comments on my HUD Section 8 series to demand where I was getting my information from. Which, hey! Listen. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen more. Speak less. Yeah, I went there. Because I'm done. Okay? You want to know where I get my information? Go to the description box. Okay? And also, in regards to claiming, well, obviously you have Trump derangement syndrome. Again, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen more, speak less. Trigger warning. If you are gung-ho for any political party, left, right, or left field, and another left turn, I myself am not. And more than likely throughout one of the many series that we cover on this channel, I am probably going to say something you don't agree with or will probably offend you. If this is not something that you can handle well, if you are unable to be able to do an actual debate with someone else on facts and will automatically go for the knee-jerk emotional reactions or ad hominem attacks, This is not the channel for you. I don't have time for it. Nobody has time for it. I always support a debate in good faith. Screaming at everyone they have Trump derangement syndrome while forever closing your ears and never closing your mouth is really just, it reflects poorly on you as a human being. You can't sit there and pound your chest and scream how nobody's showing common sense, and then come into one of our comment sections and do all the things you're claiming that the other side does. Debate in good faith is supported. Ad hominem attacks on myself or anybody else who drops by and watches any of the content on this channel is not welcome. There is enough negativity and insanity going on in the world right now. I don't know if you noticed. This is like the 3rd to 4th year in a row where World War III is trending worldwide. Nobody has time for ad hominem attacks, personal attacks, or you completely shutting everybody else out when they report things that you don't like by closing up your ears like you're a toddler, humming and singing Trump derangement syndrome. You sound like a toddler, and no actual adult should ever take you seriously. Okay? I don't have time. None of us have time right now. Okay? Grow up. Come back when you can actually debate and conduct yourself like an adult. Or otherwise, go to one of your hate-filled echo chambers that always get you people all riled up and get yourself off. I don't care. Circle jerk each other. I don't care. But you're not going to be doing it here. Okay? Sources are in the description box. No ad hominem attacks. Good faith debates in the comment sections or GTFO. Okay, we good? Good. Because I've had about enough of everybody's moronic, hostile stupidity as I can stand. Alright? Cool. Thank you. Can't deal with this crap. Alright. Now the reason why we have gone to this after we covered eligibility is because this is the particular area that has everybody riled. Because you have individuals in the GOP who have no idea what it's like out here for those of us who were once middle class and who are now currently the working poor. That is why they make dumbass statements such as, all the people on food stamps and disability just don't want to work and sit in their mom's basements and game all day. No. That is literally not happening at all. You might find maybe the rare occasions, but even that, a good majority of the time, but they're gaming and doing nothing and da-da-da-da-da. And it's a particular person who might be someone with a physical disability, might be an individual with a mental illness that really shouldn't be inside the workplace. It could be an individual who has what we call an invisible disability, such as fibromyalgia, for example, which causes extreme pain, extreme debilitation, particularly during a flare-up. And you're essentially complaining about a person whose story you know absolutely squat about. You just see them on YouTube once and then use it as a talking point like a moron. But anyways, sorry. I guess you can all see what I feel about that. So, SNAP helps millions of workers in low-paying jobs. Now, this was the most recent thing I could find. Previous to that was something from 2020. And considering what was going on during 2020, I wanted to get something that was a bit more accurate in regards to current percentages, because 2020 was not really a good benchmark. Pretty much all of us were stuck at home during that time. And unless you got lucky like myself and found a job where you were able to work from home, you were kind of SOL, which means it wouldn't be really an accurate snapshot of what's going on a majority of the time in regards to individuals who've used or participated in the SNAP program. So, we are going to go ahead and read through this today. It looks like we're going to be doing a few videos on it, so we're going to be splitting it up here a little bit, okay? Alright, here we go. And of course, folks, this will too be linked up in the description box. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, formerly food stamps, provides millions of workers with income to feed their families. Roughly 15.7 million workers, or about 10% of all workers, are in households where someone participated in SNAP in the last year. CBPP analysis of data from the 2022 American Community Survey finds. Now, you're going to find large lapses between these studies, and I can tell you why that is. That is because the government works at such a snail's pace in regards to data that it is literally mind-boggling. This is something that I had to put up with quite a bit when I worked through the state for the Department of Mental Health Division of DD to get anything done. Literally anything done. You had to throw away the idea of things getting done in an instant. Fact of the matter is, governments move at a snail's pace. Okay? To give you an example, my old job position for the state was called the advocacy specialist, to act as a resource and as an ally specifically to the consumer, what used to be referred to as the patient. So, if there is an issue going on, somebody's for entering into the service system the first time, I would act as a resource specifically for the individual being served in helping them navigate the system. I would sometimes, when asked, remain in the room pretty much after a full functional behavioral assessment has been done, so that I could provide any suggestions I might have if asked for it in regards to what type of different treatment programs that are through the service system that may help my particular consumer the most. It had to do with training a lot of people out in the community on how to deal with individuals with developmental disabilities. I did workshops for the Missouri State Troopers. I did one for the Big Cox and Mercy hospitals in regards to their hospital staff and dealing in particular with an individual who may be autistic or otherwise neurodivergent and agitated on how to slowly ease them down, that sort of thing. Yeah. But everything takes forever. That position I advocated for it to exist for at least 2 years. After that 2 years, they decided that yes, that was going to be a thing. It was going to become a position within the Department of Mental Health through the Division of DD. 2 years afterwards is when they finally got around to creating that position and bringing us into the different regional offices throughout our states to start doing exactly what I was just kind of telling you there. Okay? It always takes forever. That's the point. Let me continue. In several occupations, including home health and personal care aides, school bus monitors, agriculture graders and sorters, and maids and housekeeping cleaners, more than 1 in 5 workers participate in SNAP. Allow me to read that to you all again. In several occupations, including home health and personal care aides, what did I tell you? What have I told you guys previously about direct care staff and nursing staff in regards to how they are paid and why it's such a high burnout profession? School bus monitors, agriculture graders and sorters, and maids and housekeeping cleaners. More than 1 in 5 workers participate in SNAP. So this idea that we're all a bunch of people sitting in our mom's basement playing video games all day, receiving SNAP and all the other benefits because we don't want to work, read it and wait. Okay? 1 in 5 workers in the United States participate in SNAP. Sit down. Alright? Just sit down. Let me continue. Some of the most common occupations in the country, though vital to the overall economy, have low pay, unpredictable scheduling, and few benefits. Many workers in these occupations turn to SNAP to supplement low and fluctuating pay and help them get by during spells of unemployment. Most workers who participate in SNAP are in service, personal care aides, or cooks. Remember when I showed you that most direct care staff start around $9.50 an hour even right now while we're talking? That's same for medical assistants, by the way, up at the Mercy Hospital, just kind of up the street that way. Professional, which such as teacher and assistants. Teachers out here, I literally made $4,000 higher. $4,000 higher as a previous call center jockey than some current teachers out here in my area of the state. They have a college degree, they have a specialty. I'm a call center jockey that was sitting here hating my existence because of my numbers. And I made $4,000 more. Think about that for a minute. Just think about it. Transportation people like truck drivers, I've really been thinking about them, especially recently, because with the tariffs going all over the place, it's starting to hit the truck drivers a little bit. But I think if we continue on this absolutely, I don't even know what in the hell he's doing, and people begin to go elsewhere and maybe not ship quite as much to the U.S. or do as much business because Trump's doing his best to insult every single last one of our real allies in alphabetical order. I'm not saying the Dems are better, considering I know of 2 current Democratic congressmen who actually went to the FDA on the behalf of the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center to the FDA panel to beg them to go talk to the parents again, the same parents who have signed off on their children being on human shock collars, also known as GED devices, that literally operate at a voltage just below the lethal limit. So I'm not saying the Democrats are any form of saints here, but they're not the ones controlling the terrorists right now. And believe me, I have more than just a few grudges with some of the things that they have done, just in case anyone decides to act cute or confused. Let me go ahead and continue. Many workers and their families participate in SNAP while they are working or looking for work. This is in particular true for those of us who have done call center work, because a lot of times you're hired on to do a specific project. Now, if after that project, the skills that you have do not meet the need for any of the other temporary projects that they do inside that particular call center, you are SOL. So you have to jump over and try to get onto one of the other call centers. It's called call center roulette for a reason. Okay? Which kind of makes it difficult, because the way it works, more often than not, when I've had to do the roulette wheel of call center jobs, you have about a good 2 to 3 week period of just. If you do manage to make it, it is my evidence that God has favorites. Because usually during those 2 to 3 weeks, it's a whole lot of time. By the time it was over, I'm almost out of food. And then you got to go 2 weeks or even 3 weeks on the new job, right? Because you're not going to be getting a paycheck right away. So you have to make what little you have left somehow manage to keep you alive until you can finally get in that new paycheck. Now, usually for me, that's been the few times that I have had to go temporarily on food stamps so I would be able to eat and perform at my job. I was never on it long. Right after the first paycheck, I would report it, of course, to my food stamp folks, and they would go ahead and get me off of the food stamps. I was pretty consistent with that. But you gotta see the reality of it. Not what those GOP morons who have been born with silver spoons in their mouths try to tell you. Okay? Let me go ahead and continue here. Thus, many workers participate in SNAP for part of the year and stop participating when they are earning more. 3/4 of the workers who were eligible for SNAP at some point during the year were eligible only for part of the year, and the agricultural department study found. Alright, we're going to continue a little bit here. Millions of workers have jobs with low pay. One study estimated that 1 in 9 workers have jobs with pay that would leave their family below the poverty line despite having full-time year-round work. So think about your medical assistant folks. Even if they are married, which in the healthcare field, I see a lot of people as medical assistants get married, that whole thing. $9.50 an hour. Now let's talk about what we are dealing with inflation and the fact that not just us, but pretty much everywhere, even in low-cost Missouri, Everybody's rent went up by $200. Now imagine you're working an hourly rate as a med assistant with a certification at $9.50 an hour. And your rent jumps by $200. Yeah. Moreover, the number of low-paying jobs is expected to grow. 4 of the 6 occupations that are expected to add the most new jobs over the next decade have median wages ranging from 22 to 30% lower than the national mean. I'm going to read that again. Highlight it. Moreover, the number of low-paying jobs is expected to grow. 4 out of the 6 occupations that are expected to add the most new jobs over the next decade have median wages ranging from 22 to 30% lower than the national median. You know what that means, people? That means, well, get a job is not an answer. Okay? The areas but we have great job growth and more companies coming in, that may be true. But they fall in here. 22 to 30% lower than the national median per hour. So excuse me if I don't start jumping around like a moron and clapping for joy. They are home health personal care aides, restaurant cooks, stocker and order fillers, and hand laborers, freight, stock, and material movers. Alright, we're going to cover this last part, and then we'll go ahead and be coming back to this next Wednesday. Low-paying jobs often have scheduling practices that contribute to workers' low and unstable incomes. Preach. Roughly 4 million workers, particularly in low-paying occupations such as service, sales, and office support, work part-time in 2024 but would have preferred a full-time job. Now, for all these individuals who go work fast food, let me give you an inconvenient fact. Unless you manage to climb the ranks to become a team lead or manager, you're not going to be able to get full-time fast food work. Your average fast food person, the one that is scooping up your fries, making your burgers, slamming things in the bags for you and handing it to you across the counter, are not allowed to work that job for full-time hours. The reason is, it's a fast food restaurant. If you work over a certain amount of hours, at least out here, there is an obligation that you have to offer the option for your workers for insurance, health insurance, right? Health insurance is expensive for employers, okay? And think about all the individuals that can work at a singular fast food restaurant. Okay? Think about that. The switching shifts, graveyard shift, the 2 a.m. shift. And think about then if they had the option to work full time and the option to get that health care through the employer. How much is that going to cost the franchise owner of that particular restaurant? Also, if that were a fact, about how much would that leave said owner after covering health insurance and letting all the people work full time to work full time? You get where I'm going, right? Right? Yeah. Although there's quite a few jobs that are similar, fast food in particular I like to bring up because it's something that I've had slammed in my face by multiple clueless individuals many, 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 many times. It's time to bust that bubble. There are certain jobs that you can get that unless you are able to climb the ladder somehow, you will not be able to get health insurance through because they are not going to be giving you full-time hours. Specifically so, they don't have to pay the cost of being able to provide you the option for health care that one would qualify for as an option as a full-time employee. Okay? Let me go ahead and continue. Also, many workers, disproportionately those who are black, young, or without a college degree, work in jobs that have irregular or unpredictable schedules, especially those who work in things such as construction, sanitation. There's quite a few, which can change from week to week with little, if any, advance notice and little opportunity for input. This is not only causes workers' incomes to fluctuate, but also creates barriers to retaining employment and career advancement by making it harder to arrange childcare, search for a new job, or attend school or training. In addition, workers with unstable work schedules are more likely to have negative health outcomes, such as a greater psychological distress. A lot of us have psychological stress and anxiety issues. Hi, how you doing? And yes, I can tell you from personal experience, work stress in a high burnout job does a number on your mental health. To the point that it can be downright overpowering and just paralyzing. Alright, obviously we still got a lot more to go over in regards to going over these percentages. But for today we're going to go ahead and close off. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So if you could, folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and as always, please don't forget to hit the comments. I definitely do appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye, everyone. Oh, one more thing, because a comment was made about background noise. Yes, in my videos, there is background noise, such as rain. It's not raining. It's just a little ambiance channel thing that I have on the TV so that it's not too quiet. Because one of my autistic quirks is I get a little weirded out if it's too quiet. Alright? Alright. TMI, I know. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye, everyone.